Let's see what we got here, peeps. All right. Hey, everyone. Good afternoon. It's an afternoony. What was I going to say? I don't know what you guys see, to be honest with you. Let's see what's up. All right. I don't know. I think it's just going to have to stay that way. I had to, come at you with a different look today because I was like, I needed a change. And I actually often need a change, but like I've been needing change so much lately that I've been like, it's been fucking wild around here. That's all I gotta say because I've just been like shifting things around just because I was like, I need fresh movement, you know? So if in case you don't see it, this is actually it's basically what I've created here is a Chinese coin. And we got, we got the what's it called here? We got the and actually it's kind of slanted now, so it's kind of like looking at you. This is Ganesh. Ganesh removes all obstacles, okay? He often shows up in my helpful people a lot of the time. So I'm like, so since today's helpful people in travel, it's very interesting that I got divinely guided to kind of put this here or use this type of setup. And here's our crystal ball. Amen. I love a crystal ball. And so basically, long story short, he's here to remove all obstacles so that we can kind of move forward in our lives, right? In terms of, being our own helpful person and our own traveling person, because that is basically what, that's what life starts out with. It's us first, right? We have to make the moves on our own for then the helpful people to come through. So this is how I'm going to just do this today. So, do I share the bottom of the deck today at all? All right, so the bottom of the deck is weight, okay? And may that weight right there. What was I going to say? All right, so long story short, let's get right into it. The first card is no need to worry. Wow, guys, that's huge. And again, there's a little bit of a glare because I need light. And I really need light these days, not gonna lie. So I'm excited about the excessiveness. I just heard a car honk, which is a confirmation. So yeah, so basically this is no need to worry. Now let me just flip all of them over just to see what the storyline is all about. The midday is recovery, which is kind of like now, right? And excellent. And then the third card is take action. Okay, which I'm feeling is kind of like the chariot card today, right? Because the chariot is like the take action card, which is so fucking what a good sign. That's all I gotta say. All right, so it's really interesting. I feel as though we're doing a little bit more waiting because in order for our lives to change for how we've envisioned it to change into. Okay. So, but in this waiting, instead of worrying, we really just need to focus on how to raise our vibrations, and keep them raised so that we can kind of manifest what we want into our lives more quickly and more accurately, right? And what we're manifesting is, I'm putting it out there for everybody, we're manifesting the highest and best of what we want, but also are totally always open to receiving better. All right. So again, there's no need to worry. This is kind of like just, letting go and surrendering, but it's like letting go, letting God, like that type of thing. It's like don't put too much pressure on yourself anymore, And actually that happened to me this morning where I was like, yo, pressure's off, because I was kind of playing around. But I was like, but at the same time, I wanted to like get this reading done. So I was kind of like in a limbo where I was like, okay, creative mode, totally open to it. But I also want to get this done. So it's like, show me what I need to do, And with that being said, I got into not worry mode, but kind of like a restriction mode, which is also a worry mode in a sense, right? It's like a different style of worry. So what I'm recommending here is definitely music is going to be your helpful people today for sure in terms of signs that you'll be hearing. I know a lot of people have gotten, like, in the past couple of days, like a lot of readers have been getting like listen, listen. So I feel like, you're gonna be your own, like, listen, Linda. You know what I'm saying? In terms of basically, in terms of listening to music, but also listening to what your guides are telling you to do, right? Uh, what was I going to say? So, long story short, that is going, and here's what's going on. I feel we don't need to worry, because we also really need to help uplift the other invisible spiritual side. Okay. And I'm very glad and grateful that these cards were chosen for today's read, because I feel as though our day needs upliftment, and it needs more light, and it needs more compassion towards ourselves. So, not worrying, no need to worry. It's like you need to send yourself the compassion that you need today, because of the fact that it's like, I feel like, again, a lot of pressure has been placed on you by you. And also, playing into a little bit of impatience, and also, what was I going to say? Also, like, impatience, but also, like, societal expectations, I feel like, are really kind of like, because we haven't seen change happen in our lives. I feel like, so, like, as much as we wanted it to, like, things are, I'm going to say things have been a little stagnant, but it's like a waiting period. Like, we've been like put in this waiting period where it's like, what is it called when the planes fly into, it's like a holding pattern. Yeah, that's like what my friend used the other day. I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm in this holding pattern, but I've been in this holding pattern for so fucking long that I'm like, I'm so over it, right? So I feel like a lot of people are doing, like, they're kind of like at the end of this holding pattern, right? Where it's kind of like the worry is kind of showing up, and it's like, just put it to the side, because sometimes I feel like with patience and faith, when you're at the end of it, things start to creep in, ideas start to creep in, like, what if this isn't going to work out the way that I feel? Or what if, it's not going to pan out the way that I, like, know it's going to pan out? Like, so you start to, like, doubt and question yourself. You question, like, everything, like your abilities, what you believe in, like, all those things. And it's just kind of like, put all that shit to the side, because you don't need it. It doesn't help you. You need to uplift your thoughts, simplify your thoughts. Um, and here's what I'm getting here is, go out into nature. That's going to be your recovery period, because there's actually a lot of green and blue. So nature and water, if you can go out to that, that will definitely help you recover, and also get rid of all of that kind of like, I see it like dissipating, right, in nature, but then also it's kind of like, and again, I'm sorry that you guys can't see this clearly. We're just working with what we have right now. Like, I just didn't, I really didn't have the fucking patience to, like, set it up. And also, like, I don't know how to angle this, like, even further. Like, I just feel like I need to set it up higher and then angle it down. But I'm not going to stack shit right now. Because you're already, like, stacked on stuff. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that any higher, right? So, so whatever. So thank you for bearing with me that, like, the imperfection is real on this side for sure. But also, the messages are fucking pure, genuine from the heart, and are streamed from, like, the purity of, what was I going to say? Like, just spirit and the universe. So, like, it's quality in that sense. What was I going to say? So, long story short, you're going into a recovery period of all of your worries, this is like the final, like, just give it over to Grandmaster G and Grand Majesty G, because of the fact that it's just like, you're done with this. You know what I'm saying? It's just like one of those things that you're just like, all right, like, surrendering, but also because you've surrendered, you're now in recovery mode, damn, it's like, what I'm seeing here is, like, environment is everything, and it's really, I mean, that's one of the lessons that I am learning right now is, like, environment truly is everything, but I'm also doing everything to stabilize my environment, like in terms of energy. And that's what I mean by environments. Like the energy in your environment is everything. Like it's something that I'm gonna be so fucking grateful for, like in the future, that like I'll be such a fucking bitch about, in terms of like holding to my boundaries with it, because it's like it's so fucking, it's so important, but also, open to it at the same time, like in terms of like whatever, like I'm not going to go into it, but just basically boundaries. Like I know the boundaries that need to go up, like when I'm in my own, own environment, and not like so much of a part of a family's, right? um the family that you were like born into, in the sense. So then that recovery is definitely going to help you to take action. So you're going to be clearing a lot of, like, it's kind of like a giving and receiving with the universe that's going to go on today. And then you're going to take action, because you're going to free up a lot of energy, right? So the energy that you freed up will actually help you to take action in the right way for you. But also, what I'm seeing here is very clear decisions being made. um I can cry, because I feel like something's coming in that's so super beautiful at the end of this day, that is kind of like a shooting star. And so it's like a wish being granted, that that's it's coming in for you, and you just have to say, like, yes, I accept it, right? Now, what I'm getting, cuz I also listened to another reader, and they were getting a different perspective, which I wanted to share with you here as well. Is that, if you're dealing with two people, one that is more so from, not the past, but one that is more so like in a miserable kind of toxic mode, they might be coming up to you with a really awesome offer. And in that sense, be brave enough to decline it, because you really don't need fucking, it's beautiful. You like, be accepting of the aspect that, somebody wants to offer you something, which is beautiful. But at the same time, I feel like it's going to be about that energy that is more kind of like persuasive, and like they're kind of giving you this gift so they don't have to actually follow through with any type of communication. And they'll be like, okay, so you're happy with what I'm giving you, in terms of like, here's, they're buying love pretty much, right? Like they're buying your love. So it's like, if you're the type of person that's like me, you really can't buy my love, because I really, like, I appreciate things, and I will accept things, right? But genuinely, where they're coming from. Is it coming from a person's heart, or is it be coming from a person's aspect of, they just want to hold on to you as a friend, right? And I mean, it's like and that's also because, whatever. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things that it's like, that type of stuff. Um, and I feel as though in this case, it's going to be somebody that truly, really fucking hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to accept gifts from people that like hurt you, because you're taking on that fucking fake ass energy that's going to piss you off. And I'm just saying, out of healthy pride, like, listen, I don't know. I haven't really, like, in the past, I've been very pride filled. And I'm like, no, I would never fucking take that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you're basically taking on that person, like you're giving that person the sense of like, yeah, you're okay, and you're getting away with this type of this type of like buying my love. But now, I don't know, like I'm in limbo with it now, like, because I feel as though like like if assholes don't want to talk about it, yet they want to give you a gift, like what's the problem in not accepting, what's the problem in accepting the gift? It's like sometimes, like, you just have to like maybe accept the gift, because you're showing the universe that you are accepting of fucking gifts, and it's going to be a good one, right? But the whole thing is, so it's like, but like if you're too pride filled, where you're like, so my whole thing is this. It's like you have two aspects. You have one where it's like, if you accept the gift from an asshole, or if you, let's start off with it this way. If you don't accept a gift from an asshole, then it's kind of like you're closing yourself off to receiving, and you're closing them off to receiving, right? But if you just accept a gift from an asshole, it's kind of like karmic, like it's karmically, like I feel possibly okay because of the fact that now, since you've grown out of this pride filled essence, it's like for you to receive it is really good because you're doing good for yourself, right? In terms of like, okay, even though I'm seeing what the fuck this is all about, I still allow myself to receive all the good things that I deserve, right? So it's about you. And yes, in a sense, it's connected to healing them because they feel good that they received in a more selfish way because they don't want to kind of talk to you about an issue, but they rather solve it through gifts and shit. Then it's like, I guess you're deading shit, not in the way that you would, but in the way that they are. So it's kind of like I don't know, I'm still confused. Like, are you giving to an asshole that, like, are you giving back to an asshole in the way that he would like it because he wants to be in control? Or are you just simply like stopping at the sense of just receiving that gift because you deserve it and fuck whatever he thinks, right? Like that's where I'm like at in my life where I'm like, I don't know, maybe the asshole deserves for, you know, for another person that he hurt to take the fucking gift that he's given. I don't give a fuck what the fuck it is because at the end of the day it's like he hurt you so bad that you might as well get something out of it. Do you know what I'm saying? And not in a user abuser way, I'm just saying because you might as well just receive something good at the end of the day to kind of finish everything off on a better note, right? To be like, okay, well, at least I was put through a lot of this shit because maybe this was the gift that I was supposed to receive physically in this life. Do you get what I'm saying? So again, that's what I wanted to say is like, I think you're going to be coming up with two offers. One that's kind of like it looks really good because you know it looks it looks really good, but it's coming from a shitty person, and another one that looks really good that's coming from a great person that's actually offering you up a new opportunity in terms of a golden opportunity to take action on, right? So I think in both sense, maybe since this card is take action, it's like take action on fucking both. You know what I'm saying? It's like one door closes, another one opens, like, you know, and sometimes gifts, like, you know, gifts are an answered prayer too. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, at the end of the day, I want to say that even though assholes are assholes, they are also a blessing in disguise, right? So it's like, so again, it's our closed off mind that is kind of creating this pride filled fucking, like, you know, a separation between you and the asshole, because it's not to say that you're not ever going to be an asshole. Like, you're not perfect either, right? So if you just accept whatever is coming your way today in terms of a good thing, I don't feel like you're gonna like, because sometimes you're not even supposed to teach these people a fucking lesson. You're just simply supposed to be accepting of what is, right? Like, that's just what it is. And that's been a very long, that's been a very tough lesson for me to learn, because I feel as a spiritual teacher, I'm here to fucking teach everybody. But, you know, there are those that we call assholes that basically are not meant for us to have put so much effort into in terms of teaching, right? Or giving our love, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Because teaching is a form of love. So it's like, so sometimes we want to help people that aren't ready. Sometimes we want to help people that we're not meant to be helping. And these lessons that, you know, we're learning are a little fucking tougher on us than, because we're not fucking seeing it. We're like forcing it, you know? But again, it's so interesting because one of the biggest takeaways from this is your environment, you know? It's like the energy in your environment sometimes makes you force fucking shit that you really need to be waiting on. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like in terms of like, who do you surround yourself with, or is there an essence of competition there, or is there an essence of a lot of ego going on there? You know what I'm saying? That could create this essence of force. And so what you're recovering from is being so fucking forceful about all the stuff that you need to be just, or the all the stuff that you've been forcing, you're recovering from today, right? And so that's basically what's going on here in terms of just, yeah, in terms of just letting things fucking flow. Like, because, you know, and it's really funny because this morning, I don't know about you guys, but like, I literally declared, I was like, I'm not living a life of worry anymore. I was washing the dishes and I was saying that, and I was like, I'm not worrying like these people anymore. Like, the people that are like, I'm surrounded by all this worry and I'm very sensitive to it. But excuse me, that came out. That was like a clearing. Whoa. That was deep into my throat. Um, but what I want to say here is like, you're gonna declare, like, not that you're gonna be like me and declare, but like, make sure that you declare that you're not going to worry. If you're a sensitive, put it this way, if you're a sensitive being, I would recommend and suggest highly that you declare that you're no longer going to worry about things in your life anymore, because that is a past motherfucking type of energy that does not work anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's like an old school way of like, oh, worry about this, worry about that. Like, also mothers too. Mothers love to use that shit. It's like, oh, like, I have to worry about my kids. It's like, no, no, no. You don't have to worry about your kids. You have to guide your kids. You also have to, like, it's a reciprocal thing, like, I saw this is a side note, but I saw, like, or no, I heard a chick, like, the other day on the radio saying, I have no problem. I wouldn't worry about feeding myself, but I worry about feeding my children. And it's like, bro, if you know you could fucking feed yourself, you could definitely fucking feed your children. What is the fucking worry there? Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just like thoughtless shit that people say or people believe because they've never thought about, right? That's why it's thoughtless. That it's like, all right, well, if you know how to feed yourself, then you definitely know how to feed your children. Why would you ever fucking worry about that? I mean, it was a commercial about whatever. I'm not even gonna go into it, but like, though it was about food, right? Like a food pantry type of commercial. But like, the whole thing is, it's like, don't worry about that shit. Like, if you know you can handle your own, you can handle yourself without having to worry, then then you can handle a lot of shit. Like, if you know that you can turn all of your worries into a prayer, for instance, then you're taken care of. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, that's what you have to believe in. You cannot any longer allow yourself to be swayed or deterred by these people around you that are like all worrying. You know what I'm saying? The other day, my uncle, old school, I love them. God bless all of them. But like, I told my uncle, I went for a walk and he just went in on me. He was like, but T, you gotta be smart. You gotta, make sure that you're not going out there. There's a girl that got fucking, killed. And I mean, God bless her soul, but like, he's going into all this worry mode. And you know what I turned around and I said to him? I said, thanks, uncle. But I was like, at the end of the day, I know that I can hold my own because, I don't waste my energy on shit. So when I fucking need to plow somebody down, I fucking will. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not, that's like a healthy ego thing because I'm not afraid. People are more afraid of love than they are of fear. That's the fucking crazy part. Do you know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is, it's like, and I was walking today and I was thinking about that. And I was thinking how it's really funny because a lot of cowards think that they can take other people down physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically, right? But the whole thing is, and the only reason why they think that they can take people down is because there are too many people out there that literally are so easily swayed in terms of not standing their own ground in terms of what they believe in or what they, want their lives to be. So they think everybody's going to just be a fucking pushover, right? Like, they think, like, some people think that, oh, just because women are women, now they're all fucking pushovers. You know what I'm saying? And that's not really the truth. Like, just like I read into one of John Assaraf's posts, and he had a whole bunch of women around the table, and it was him as, like, I guess, like, a business leader, and somebody had commented and said, wow, there's a total lack of testosterone over here. Like, there's not much testosterone on around this table, And he's like, and he responded back with, no, you don't understand. We have a few women that are like alpha fucking females up in here. And it's like, that's the truth, You're assuming that just because people are lighthearted and nice and da-da-da-da, like, and the majority is as the majority, these cowards are assuming that there are women out there that are just going to be like other women, and the case is there's going to be less of those kind of women because now they're kind of like I feel like women are like they're awakening to not taking a lot of shit anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, they're realizing that we're all human, and that's the whole thing. We all have to realize that we're human. That's another thing that I was talking to my uncle about. We got into like all this conversation. He was like, you know, I just drop people like who don't like, you know, I don't know what he said, something, I don't know what we were talking about, but basically we were all talking about like, oh, our titles, like, oh, if you're a daughter in the household, oh, if you're an uncle in the household, like uncle versus, you know, niece, you know, who needs to be the one to say something in terms of like tolerate each other. And I said no, we don't, we all need to tolerate each other on a no title like aspect of life, which is human. Like we are at the bottom, at the level of it all, at the foundational level of it all, we are all human. So the title is actually very interesting because the title makes us feel as though we have to, you know, succumb to fucking some other fucking like person. So whether it be an elderly in our family and all this stuff, and it's like I used to think like that. I really did used to think like, oh, you know, it's really, and I still do to a certain level. I absolutely do. I respect my elders. That's not what I'm trying to say. Like, don't respect your elders, but the elders can be fucking assholes sometimes. Do you get what I'm saying? And they think that it's because of their age, or it's because of, you know, they've been around for too long. Now they know better than everybody. And it's like, okay, that's a beautiful thing. But that doesn't mean just because you're an elder that you're not going to any longer, like, you're like detached from this kindness that goes on. No, I put everybody in their place when kindness does not come, you know, when kindness is not put in at the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no excuse for that. To me, there's no excuse because I know I can do it even when I feel like fucking shit every day. You know what I'm saying? Or not, God forbid, no, may no one ever feel like shit every day, but I'm saying every day I literally put my best foot forward, which is my kindness, and I make it a fucking it's imperative that I do that, right? Because of the fact that if I'm having a bad day, and that's even with having a bad day, I put my fucking kindness first and foremost and forward, because I know that that's going to get me through the fucking day. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like an uplifter. So my whole thing is, you know, all of this connects. I feel like I got sidetracked, but I just feel like all of it connects, and I'm just not going to even fucking further, like, you know, like kind of explain myself. It's just like what we all need to, it's just what's coming through. So I need to like teach about this. So the whole thing is, you know, and it's not even teaching, it's literally like how to be. It's a being that I'm trying to just remind people of. You know what I'm saying? It would suck to say that I have to be a teacher of kindness. Like, that's all within us anyway. You know what I'm saying? Just use it. So the whole thing is, yeah, so, you know, this is just, it's a little bit more patience you have to wait out for. You know, there's no need to worry because you got it. You know how to be a human being, right? And that's the whole thing. You've been doing the best that you can do in terms of being a human being. And so now you're in just a recovery process of all of those fucking people that fucked you over in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, or it's seemingly fucked you over because, again, they're blessings. But, you know, as a sensitive being, you're going to need a recovery from it because you feel like you got beat up because, you know, as a sensitive person, all you're asking for is simple kindness. You know what I'm saying? From people. But since we're coming from this old school way of, you know, kindness is like, oh, you're going to, you know, like old school people never really wanted to give their kids kindness, which is fine because I appreciate that too. It's never going to always be about kindness, but it is at the same time. But the whole thing is, you know, you have to understand how to what's the word? How to maneuver yourself around people who aren't kind. So I get that they had to teach us that. But at the same time, a lot of them put in all of this stuff within us that, you know, wasn't of love. And it was more so like, oh, like of a fear-based world. And it's funny because this is green and blue, which is kind of like the world, right? So it all really does connect. So the whole thing is they've created this fear-based world which is actually a cowardly world, and which is what we're seeing on a global scale right now as a cause and effect. I mean, literally, there, and you can see all of the fucking old school people watching fucking the news, and they're, or hear something about the news and the shooting and the gun violence and all this stuff, and they're like, they're surprised by it. And I'm like, yo, it's fucking crazy that you're actually surprised by all this shit, because you guys have fucking instilled it in us that, like, it's a fucking fearful world out there. You gotta be tough, you gotta be this, you gotta be that. So all of that suppressing shit, that we haven't dealt with, that we haven't even recovered from, and thank God that we're now recovering from it, has been the fucking the effect of all of it, has been the effect of that cause, right? Like, because they fucking taught us that, it's a tough world out there, it's a rough world out there, da 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 da. And how to ignore our feelings, and how to ignore emotions, and men shouldn't cry, and women should be this way, and that suppression that was created in terms of humanity has literally caused all of this fucking violence, dude. So it's not even about putting any more laws in, it's about being more fucking kind. Just bring fucking kindness to the forefront, and you will recover. And everybody will settle the fuck in. Do you know what I'm saying? And again, it's about compassion to yourself. Like, people haven't been taught self-love, but we are coming into this new era, this new phase. And I feel like I am the very much so teacher of self-love nowadays, because of the fact that that's so foundational, right? As foundational as it is to be human, it's foundational for us to have self-love within ourselves, and that compassion within ourselves to recover from it, and then to take action towards others, in terms of being kind and being soft and being, whatever. Like, and it's really interesting because I come from like if you could hear my voice, I'm so fucking adamant about it, like that I'm fucking bitch mode about it. But at the same time, it's because I've dealt with so much shit, and I see so much shit on a daily basis that is so unnecessary. And it's so fucking complicating the whole aspect of love that it pisses me off. And I'm actually, because I'm very truthful with myself. And again, I think that's a lot of what, like, the old school ways wanted to teach us, is to be truthful with ourselves, which is actually love, which is actually self-love, and which is actually compassion. But they went about it the wrong way. That's what I really feel. So I'm very adamant about this, but at the same time, there was something there that I wanted to say. Fuck it, it'll come back. But at the same time, like, we have to recover from this. We have to heal from this, and we are doing that on a very, like, whatever phase we're going through right now that we're, like, getting pissed off at. It needed to happen because we needed to realize all this. Like, for instance, I needed to realize all of my shit, so that I can come to you and I can kind of voice it all, and this is me being in recovery mode, right? As I'm expressing myself, I'm recovering at the same time, because I'm listening to my own words, which I actually find very important, because I don't talk shit, and I'm not like a person who cries wolf. I refuse to be one of those people, because you are never going to be helped. Again, helpful people, right? If you are the type of person that, like, creates drama, and you're like the boy who cries wolf, don't ever be expected to be helped, because you created all of your fucking drama. And, and if you do it on a often basis, like, no one's going to help you at the end of the day, because they don't want to be A, involved, B, they don't take you seriously. And it's because you talk out of your ass instead of out of, like, your heart. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is, I wanted to go back to the whole trust thing. It's like, I trust my words. Whenever they come out, I trust my words. I learn from my words. I recover from my words. My words come from my heart, and my words are also very well, unless they're streamed, they're very well thought out. Like, this is a stream right now coming from my heart and coming from above, which is allowing me to express myself, freely, but also wholesomely, to an aspect of, I'm speaking because this creates more happiness, right? Like, people don't realize that, to act human and to treat others, treat yourself with kindness, treat others with kindness in terms of self-love. That is literally, that's how we're going to solve a lot of the fucking world's problems and our own problems. Okay. So again, it's the recovery that it's going to recover us. And I see cover, which is like cover our asses at the same time, right? So, and a lot of the times it's very interesting because some people are scared to express themselves because they are so insecure with not with having created so much drama and so much like non-needed accessibility, if that makes sense, like excess, right? Like things in excess that's not needed, that's why they can't express themselves wholeheartedly, because they've polluted them fucking their thoughts and their ways of living, their everything is fucking polluted, and that's what creates the insecurity. So if you have an insecurity, you have to simplify. And that's also, a way to recover. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, you really have to, you have to start caring about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you have to stop worrying about what other people think. And you have to be patient. Again, the waiting is also a patience. It takes patience to do all of this process. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, and then you'll be able to discern, once you go through this process, even up to here, you'll be able to discern exactly what actions you need to take for yourself, and what is for your highest and best good. But also you'll be able to take action towards accepting all of what is for you in the highest and best way. You'll be able to discern and see that, oh, this is for my highest and best good, no matter who it's coming from, right? And you'll also be able to discern who the helpful people are in your life and who aren't. I wanted to go back here with truth for some reason. I'm being led to go there, and I forgot what it was. It's about being truthful with yourself. I know I went over, like people, like old school people trying to teach us truth, which is a beautiful form of love, guys. It's a beautiful form of love. But you know what's so funny is I've also noticed that, in America, because I come from two cultures, right? Like I'm born here in America, but I'm also raised from a European culture, which I believe is the best of both worlds, okay? Because in the European culture, and old school ways at that, European culture, they are pretty fucking rough around the edges, and they're very simple in terms of directness, right? In America, we're taught to be overly kind, okay? And here's where I come into play, where I'm teaching people through this right now, is to be very simple, rough around the edges. You're allowed to be rough around the edges. You're allowed to be simple. You're allowed to be direct, okay? In terms of a loving and assertive way. And you're also allowed to be kind at the same time, because all of that is kindness. All of that is truth, right? And the whole thing is, when you are balanced in all of it, you are then definitely highly regarded, right? Because you're refreshing. You're fucking just willing to tell the truth, And the whole thing is, it's really funny. A lot of people tell the truth. Like, there are some people that I've met in my life that I just laugh at because they tell the truth so much so that it's how my parents look at me, where it's like they find me truly fucking annoying, but I know exactly when to stop. It's just that with them, it's like I choose to be that way because they don't kind of see it for themselves, right? And it's kind of, well, I don't want to say I choose to be that way, but when you're comfortable with people and you want them to just understand and get it, I overly work myself with my parents. I totally get that now. Like, I'm recovering from that now, because I care a lot about them, right? So I wanted them to see my perspective on there's a happier way of life, dudes. Like, and it's easier, but whatever. That's one of the things that I'm recovering from. But what I wanted to say here is, when it comes down to it, like, there's some people that, are too direct, overly, like they're overly because they want to be right about everything. They want to make sure that people know that they see all of what they are seeing, and also trying to let them know that, like, oh, no one can fuck with them, right? Like, it's just like on a loud scale. Like, I'll put everything out there, like, in the truth, like whether it hurts your heart or whether it doesn't hurt your heart, like everything's fucking being told to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of, like, but that also needs balance too, right? Because that's, even though that's a form of kindness and truth, that needs balance too, because some people aren't ready. Their hearts have been through too much, that they're not ready to hear, or like, for instance, this is what I'm trying to say. There are some people out there that are so truthful that they are willing to validate other people's fuck ups. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like I ran into a person one time who was like, I don't know, whatever. I listen. We're all, this is material for life. So it, just like comedians use material in their life, I'm gonna have to just use people in my life too that, that I fucking have come across. So I don't give a shit if you think this is you or not. Whatever. I'm not gonna mention anybody's names. That's all that's important. So, like, one time I came across a woman who was very alpha, and God bless, because we need them too. But at the same time, she didn't know how to hone in her energy. She was giving a lot, and she didn't know how to hone in her energy. So the whole thing is, she turned out to be this person that, kind of everybody would bow down to, which is fine still, because again, if a person is willing to speak their truth, and actually we all know what the truth is because we can all connect to it, even if we want to be quiet about it, they then become an alpha. So this person was basically working overtime for her alpha position, right? Now, the whole thing is, it's like, but it makes no sense, because she was putting down a person who literally has been through a lot, also very sensitive and, kind, and yet she didn't give a fuck if this person was sensitive and kind. She just wanted to be in the right about her truths, even though her truths were right. It's like she had to speak them out loud. And again, that all happens for a reason too, right? Where people just spit fire fucking truths. And it's like, okay, that's cool. But when you're doing it without thinking or without tact, then you come across as a person that, after a while people no longer want to deal with. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's like, you're then there to point out, you're more so there to point out their flaws than anything good that they've done. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel as though we don't need that shit a lot in this life, because of the fact that we by ourselves put ourselves down a lot on a natural basis, like, because we put all this pressure on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So, like, do I go into what the scenario was just to give a better understanding? Okay. So basically it's like, this person had purchased furniture, right, for like a lot of money, right, and a lot more money than what the furniture was supposed to be for, right? But the whole thing is, this other person came in, this alpha female came in, and she was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. But, like, again, you're trying to put somebody in regret mode. And for what? That doesn't help anybody. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, and the only person that this alpha female was helping was herself, to say, oh, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to share it with you. But that's also very selfish, right? Like, you're not uplifting anybody by doing that, So it's kind of like you're putting a person down even further into the ground, because of the fact that this person may have realized that, never wanted that to be an out loud thing, which is fine. But also, who are you to come in, all, because again, we are all flawed up. So it's like, who are you to come in to tell people that they've fucked up on such a grand scale that they can't actually take shit back now, that they should now live with their regrets because it was such a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? It's like no one should be that I told you so type of person. You know what I'm saying? So again, we have to hone in our assholeness sometimes, because even though we all have an asshole side to ourselves, and we all have a very kind side to ourselves. So it's like, the asshole side needs to fucking quiet down a little bit. That's basically where you're like quieting your ego. You're keeping your ego in check, And ego is victimized mindset, by the way. It's basically what's going to come out of a victimized mindset. So by you keeping that fucking quiet, you are actually putting yourself more in a position of power than, any out loud alpha female or male, for that matter, would put themselves into. Do you get what I'm saying? Because there's a power to being quiet. So there's a power to patience, there's a power to faith, there's a power to quiet energy, and actually more so than loud sometimes, because sometimes loud doesn't know how to express itself. Do you get what I'm saying? Because they just want to be heard, but to be quiet, on an energetic, and to be patient on an energetic level is super powerful. Like, you can't beat that shit. So you have to literally be very you have to be, and again, I believe in this. This is why it's coming out like such, like, in fucking like assertive mode, because I believe in it so much that you can't, you think you can run around after you grow out of your parents' authority and say whatever the fuck you want and whatever, but you're also realizing that an authority way past your parents' authority over you, which is karma. Karma's a fucking bitch. Do you know what I'm saying? And this person, let me just tell you something. This person, the alpha female that I'm talking about, bless her heart, there's a lot of karma there that now I know that she has to fucking go through, because she doesn't know how to shut her mouth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so again, it's, and you're and she, also, you don't know how to be kind all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because you, out of your insecurities, out of your victimhood, you want to be put in the first position, and you want everybody to fucking bow down to you, but you're not bowing down to yourself at the same time. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and by saying that, like, you're not bowing down to yourself at the same time, it's you're not giving yourself a period of quietness, a period of patience, a period of waiting. You know what I'm saying? So so where you can really kind of process shit. That's what you're doing. This is a gift. Waiting is a gift. And I'm actually telling myself that too, because I've fucking been so impatient lately, and I don't know why, because I'm meditating and all this stuff. But I think it's what Oprah says, in terms of manifesting. She said it. Yes. Oh, thank you, 18. Yes, they wanted me to talk about manifesting because they showed up my cards today. I forgot about that. All right, so exciting. So in terms of manifesting, I feel as though I've been manifesting a lot, right? But I ran into this video just yesterday that Oprah was saying, I am a damn good fucking manifester. And she taught me that I am one as well, which is, she reiterated that, because I know a lot of people have been telling me that, all throughout my life. And I'm like, I don't even realize it. It's just one of those things that I don't know. But so I'm grateful for it. But at the same time, she was saying that, you have to be, when it comes to manifesting, she was teaching, and oh my gosh, I love you, Oprah, just letting you know, because I know that I'm going to manifest you watching my videos. I know it. Because her and I are on the same motherfucking big dream type of scale. And by the way, when it comes to Wrinkle in Time, I've never read the book, and I will read the book, but I watched the movie, and after watching the movie, I was like, oh my God. I was like, hold up. I was like, this is why fucking Oprah became Oprah. That's all I gotta say. So if you have not watched Wrinkle in Time, please watch it, because I know that Oprah was in it. I know exactly why she wanted to be in the movie also, because that shit is fucking magical, and also so truth-filled, and also so the way that life works. But also, read A Wrinkle in Time to your kids, and let that be their magical way of living their lives, because that is the fucking truth. And so that needs to be a book read, Wrinkle in Time. Like, I have to read that in 2019. I'm about to read that book, like, in its detail, because I know that there's so much wisdom there that needs to be, for manifesting. There's a lot of wisdom there. So anyhow, so long story short, and believing manifesting. And the whole thing is, by the way, you can only be a big dreamer if you believe. So you have to believe in the goodness that, life will bring you, and you cannot steer away from that. That needs to be your fucking focus always, right? Even if you don't want to fucking show up to life. You have to do it for the aspect of love. You know what I'm saying? Just do it for the love, and that's it. And so, long story short, oh, she was talking about manifesting, and she's like, you want me to teach you how to manifest? And everybody's like, yeah, yeah, you know. And it was an interview she had about A Wrinkle in Time, and she said, okay. She goes, what? And actually, it's very funny too, because thank you, Oprah. I realized I started off my journey, or when I was younger, with a fucking vision board. I no longer have vision boards, and I stopped resonating with them, and I don't know why. But I was like, I just never kept one. Like, I have maybe a shoebox where I kind of stick things in, but I don't resonate with vision boards anymore. And she was like the confirmation as to why, because I always wondered why. I'm like, what's the resistance that I am not making vision boards anymore, you know? And the whole thing is, it's because of the fact that I resonate with words, because I'm more of a writer and emotional person. So I mean, pictures are emotional too, but like, I resonate with words more. But also, like, she made me realize she doesn't even have a vision board anymore. And that's not to say you don't have any goals in your life. That's literally like, it's because when it shows up in your world, you are so aware that you acknowledge it, and you say, yep, that's what I claim for myself. Thank you so much, that or better. And then you just release it out into the universe. Right. And she was saying that that's exactly what you do. You manifest by just claiming it, and being also, she made it very clear, which I agree with as well, that you need to ask to be of the matching vibration of what you are asking for. So if you are asking for a soulmate, right, you need to ask the universe and ask your angels, ask your guides, whatever you believe in. You need to ask to be at the vibrational match of them, so that they can be brought into your world physically, like manifested physically into your world. Excuse me. And what was I gonna say? And yeah, and so, like, and if you're also like, and it's so crazy because the girl that was interviewing Oprah, and the entire cast for all the goddesses that look motherfucking great, by the way. So, like, by the way, Oprah, I don't know what you're like. First of all, she, like, I just feel like how she looked like in Wrinkle in Time, that was like her jam, and she looked incredible in terms of, like, Oprah, you need to really become that. Like, that is your style. That is, I mean, yeah, okay, like, simple, sophisticated is beautiful too, but I'm telling you, on a grand note, Oprah looked so fucking badass in that movie that I'm like, yo, Oprah, why isn't this your thing every day when you can actually make it happen, you know? It was such beautiful artwork in terms of the fashion and the makeup and the hair and the design. Oh my God, I was so enthralled by all of the goddesses that were there, you know? So, talking about Grand Majesty G, Oprah, you nailed it, you know, and all the other ladies too. And I forgot their names because I'm really bad with the actors and actresses' names, but I love them too. They were great. I'm trying to think of what their names were. One was Reese Witherspoon, who's super cute, and the other one was, I'm not going to remember her name though. I'm going to remember what, like, I forgot, and I'm so sorry, because in case you all watch this, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I forgot what it was, but she has a show that starts with an M. That's all that I know. I'm bad with that, guys. I'm more so of a music person. So long story short, yeah, that's what she said. She said, you know, she was like, you want to know how to manifest? Oh, so to finish up that story, the girl that was interviewing the cast was saying how she literally had Oprah or on her vision board, and she manifested interviewing Oprah. And I was like, oh my God, isn't that amazing? And Oprah literally stood up and hugged her, because that is just so, it is. It's like, it's so meaningful when that happens. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is, I was just so happy with, you know, also like the essence of, you know, all of the female camaraderie in that interview too was just so beautiful, because it was very uplifting. Like, all of them were uplifting each other. They were just very kind to each other. That's all that it is, you know? what else was I going to say is that, I was gonna say something else. I don't know what it was. Oh, you know what? I also wanted to comment on that video, and I might just, I don't know if I'll, maybe I'll post the link in the description box below. I don't know, or on my Facebook page, which is the Illuminated Muse. Yeah, I may or may not have already, though. I don't know. I have to think about it. But all I wanted to say there was I loved the body language of Oprah as she was being interviewed, because she was so chillaxed and she was so in her own divinity in terms of like she was just so like she was like kicking it back as if she was a dude, and I just like loved how relaxed she was because and how confident she was because of the fact that it's just like, you know, she walks and talks her truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, she believed, she fucking dreamed, she fucking did it. You know what I'm saying? She took action. She dealt with all this stuff. She even recovered. You know what I'm saying? From all the stupid ass shit that she was told, which she mentioned in that interview as well. So it was like, it was definitely just, you know, beautiful queenism there that I just have to just say thank you for that interview because, you know, the manifesting is real. The believing is real. The faith is real. All of that stuff that seems very invisible is very real. And, you know, again, we're dealing with these angels' answers, which is a lot of them, I feel like this is a more feminine deck, which is very interesting because I was thinking to myself and was like, I was like, oh, that's interesting that, you know, this popped up, like the females, this, to me, it's a more female deck, right? I use it in terms of feminine energy. So it's very interesting that, that it popped up because I was like led to use it as helpful people in travel because I feel like maybe, you know, as a collective, our feminine energies are what is being embraced today and what is uplifting us today, right? So we need to literally nurture that. We need to have our masculine energy, as much as our masculine energy is more of like a foundational structural groundwork to it all. It needs to embrace, it needs to hold, it needs to nurture, and it needs to respect the feminine side of ourselves for it to just fucking, you know, take off. Like, there's a reason why, you know, females, like, so many of the men want to tame the females, right? Like, that was like a traditional way of dating and shit, like, or marriage or whatever, relationships, you know, a long time ago, where it's like, this is how we've become so suppressed, actually, right? Because, you know, we've been kind of tamed. But the thing is, you can't tame our inner child has been tamed, along with our feminine side as a collective has been tamed. And it's like, so then the masculine's gonna fucking take over. But then again, if one side only takes over, you're never going to have a wholesome happiness, right? Like, you're going to always have something missing. So as much as the masculine side of the world has been so fucking loud, you know, the light of the feminine is now breaking through. You know what I'm saying? And we're also breaking through in a very imperfect way, which is even more beautiful. That's what I feel like. The light is just being cracked open, like we are being expanded upon. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know how to, like, this is gonna be gross, but like, I just feel like it's like okay, maybe it's like an egg, right? Like, we've kind of like, or like, you know, like Gargoyles, if you ever watched that show, like back in the early 90s, like Gargoyles, you know, when the sun would come up, they would turn into stone, right? And I feel as though that was us, like, in a feminine way. Like, anytime an emotion would come up, you know, in terms of a light, like to shine the truth upon a situation, which would be kind of like a more, you know, yang masculine, you know, in a more lighthearted sense. So, you know, our feminine aspect would just kind of turn into stone, right? So, like, now it's like been so many years, and it's kind of like, you know, Hocus Pocus, like, where, you know, like, who is it that comes back from the dead? I forgot how. I told you I wasn't a movie person, but like, but like, basically, there was somebody that if I'm remembering it correctly, there was somebody that like came back from the dead or was uncracked, like, or maybe it was the witches. Oh, it was the witches that came back from the dead that basically, again, feminine energy, which is funny. Like the witches came back, after being, I guess suppressed, but also like, I forgot what they were. Were they like, they were like solidified somehow. They were like, I think they turned into stone or something like that. So again, they were suppressed for a long time. I don't know what my whole point in terms of connection of this was, but the whole thing is, it's like, yeah, our feminine energies have been, which is our more mystical side, right? Which is our more believing side, which is our more heart side. That has been suppressed for so many years that, now all of us as a collective human type of being, right? We are cracking that shit open. So, today is a very I feel like it's a very powerful day because we've just been through a very powerful week, guys. We don't realize it. And I feel as though this upcoming week, this is like the limbo, and I think this is why this video went on for a little bit longer, because we're now in transition. We're in this limbo of next week is when we are going to really see our rewards coming in on a very karmic based way, in a very karmic based way, on a very karmic based level, where if you've been doing good, if you've been on your, trying to be on your A game, trying to, show up to life in a really positive and patient and faith-filled way, and a proactive way, you're going to be seeing rewards. Now, next week, just giving you a heads up that if, and again, I'm a person of compassion, but I'm very real. There are things that, people, again, once they kind of, let go or are no longer with the aspect of their family or their parents that kind of teach them how to be, or it doesn't matter, a guardian, it doesn't have to be just a parent. They forget that karma is at play, or they've never been taught that karma is at play. So they feel like they can just go wild out and just do whatever the fuck they want and treat people, be this type of like negative selfishness, where it's actually like you're not even thinking about anybody else but yourself in terms of cause and effect. And yet the cause and effect is very negative towards you too in the long run, right? So it's like now, next week, we're going to be receiving a lot of long run happiness desires that we've really built. We've really kind of like fucking like really been proactive towards. And, I just want to say that, and I'm very comfortable in saying this, that, God works in mysterious ways, but karma is very clean cut, cause and effect, right? So my whole thing is, if you see people that are fucking bitching and complaining next week about something that has happened to them on every type of level, send them love, send them light, because that's absolutely what you want to do. But don't bow down to them in terms of, I'm all about compassion, but with me, and I feel as though also, there needs to be a limit to everything, right? And again, like I've learned, you are not meant to help everybody. Do you know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is, you have to realize that if somebody comes complaining your way, oh my God, this happened to me, da 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 da. Listen, you can listen to their story, but walk away from that shit, because just know that karma is a part of the life process. Karma is something like, these people want you to maybe feel bad for them, in terms of a victim mindset, but that's the type of shit that comes around when you really don't give a shit about other people or the entire collective as a whole. Now, the whole thing is very interesting because there's so many people out there that are so willing to call somebody else selfish, and yet that's what they are mirroring back to themselves when they see somebody who is kind of in a more quiet-esque power, within themselves, right? So they mirror back and they're like, oh my God, you're being so selfish because you're not sharing that with us. And it's like, because I don't have to. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no one has to. But the whole thing is also, they don't see that the person that is actually quietly taking care of themselves is actually exuding such a light and power and love and light all over the fucking place that they don't have to fucking be, they don't, and they think of other people. That's the funny part, that if you were to think about other people, you are to love yourself more, and that eventually trickles on, spills over, has the cup overfloweth and spills on to taking action and affecting everybody else in terms of a positive way, so the whole thing is, when it comes down to it, just wait for your ships to come in, so to speak. Wait for your rewards to come in. They're coming in, and don't worry about it. There's no need to worry about it, because right now you're in the recovery process, and you're gonna take action in accepting those gifts for yourself, because you waited so fucking long, and that you are now fully freaking deserving of it. And there's nothing in your way, because again, the foundation that I put down here is Ganesh. So Ganesh is he's removing all the obstacles right now in terms of this transition, for then next week you to just simply accept left and right all of your beautiful golden opportunities, send your way. And look at all the golds over here. The gold lining of the cards, and the lining of the cards is gold. So again, golden opportunities coming your way, I'm so super grateful. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, be persistent in your faith and do good for you in terms of recovery. Like, really kind of give yourself, and again, I actually put self-love, so this week is my own, like, to really concentrate on my self-love. I do it, but I basically put, if this helps you guys, and I'm sure that it will, there's a week that I've chosen kind of mid-month, every month, to basically focus on doing something for myself in terms of self-care, like kind of luxurious self-care. And I'm talking about like DIY home care, or also going outside and going out and lavishly spending on yourself in terms of, how to rebalance yourself in terms of self-care, right? So it's a self-care week for me, which is, helping in the recovery. So whatever you can think of, even if you have to go get inspired some way, somehow, you know what I'm saying, in terms of recovering your self-love or your self-care about yourself. I'm picturing somebody going to a bookstore and just looking up self-care, like how can you tend to yourself better? What ideas can you get out of a book? Or even online, go research online to see what are people doing. Like for me, I know that, there's certain things okay, so just to give you an idea, I love white teeth, right? Now you brush your teeth, on a daily basis. And the whole thing is, it's sometimes, there's this extra step that I bought. It's this clay, what is it? The black clay. I forgot what it's called. It's a black clay that basically it comes in a pot, and it's kind of like an extra step that you don't usually take for yourself. So all those extra steps that you don't usually take for yourself, this is a week to actually take those steps, right? So, and what I want to say with that is that you usually brush your teeth, but that whitening step, that extra whitening step, is an extra step that you usually kind of just dismiss, because you just want to keep things simple on a daily basis, to do a little bit of just to get things over and done with, whatever. I enjoy taking care of myself, but also a lot of us are just okay, excited like a kid, and we're all right, what are we doing today, in terms of what dreams are going to get tended to, and so you try to do you try to speed through the basics, and also to get to your coffee and things like that, and just to get things done. So, again, we're human, we're imperfect. We're not going to take time for ourselves sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I put it in my calendar that, every month I have to take a week out to really kind of make sure that I take those extra steps. Whether it's putting a mask on your face after you washed your face, or something like that, just take, and actually, if you want to take it to some real big deal, only taking one step is big, but if you wanted to go and take an extra step in the morning and an extra step at night, that would be huge, This is also a great a great way to recover is by, getting rid of old habits and replacing them with new. So like one thing that is also related to self-care is like I really want to oil pull, and I haven't been doing that, but I really want to. And it's funny because I've done it before in the past, but I fell off the bandwagon with it. But now this recovery could mean that, okay, now's the time to actually recover that habit, go back to it so it'll stick, right? Because sometimes out of impatience, since we're not willing to wait, sometimes we want to just like put it into gear. The habit doesn't stick. So, you fall off and you're like, damn, it's still in the back of your head. Like, I really want to do that. Like, I'm still hung up on it in a sense. So like now's the time to kind of put it into action, right? So that's what that could be also. What was I going to say? Yo, not going to lie, Oprah, I'm really feeling you right now. So I feel like, yeah, we're going to meet very soon. I'm just putting that into action. Like, there's so much. And I always said, it's so funny. I always said that I am the yin and yang to Oprah. Like, because, do I go into it right now? Okay, this is funny, actually. So I've always said, I'm like, okay, so Oprah is super, like, I love her. She's black on the outside, totally white on the inside. And I'm like white on the outside and totally black on the inside, but yet we both have the common, and I feel like as though I dress loud, like I dress really loud, and she dresses like very, very, like simple, you know what I'm saying? Like how, like I want to say, well, it doesn't matter rich or poor, it doesn't matter, but like, a lot of the time, like it's actually really beautiful. The elite dress very simplified in terms of very like basic, which is also very clean, right? But in my world, you can have both clean and loud and, whatever. Actually, Oprah does a really good job too. She wears color and stuff. It's not like she doesn't. So Oprah's always looking great no matter what. So you go, girl. I mean, that wasn't meant to put anybody down in any way. I'm just saying, like, in comparison to, I've always said that I'm like, Oprah's like, I'm the yin to Oprah's yang, or yeah, because she came first. So you got to give it up to her, right? So I'm the yin to her yang. So I feel as though, I mean, we just have a lot in common, but, yeah, like, so I'm definitely willing to, work with Oprah. I feel as though, yeah, I am, I don't know what's there, but there is a pull too where I'm manifesting that completely. So, and that I've been manifesting that ever since I was like younger, like, I don't even know. It's very interesting. I don't know when that came about. It's just that because we're both like philanthropists, we're both like humanitarians, and I just feel as though, I get her. I get her on a deeper note. We're also very spiritual, and so I'm very actually grateful for this reading, guys, because I feel as though I was at the beginning. I was actually very I was doubting using this deck because sometimes I don't know, like it's so simple that I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Like I don't know how to direct it. But here's the thing, since we're going through this transition, I feel as though that I'm coming out of this worry-esque and this fear-basedness. So I'm allowing myself to recover myself and flow into what needs to be told, right? Like I'm just kind of like giving up these worries, like, oh, about the imperfect video, about the imperfect this and that. And it's just like, because I freed myself from the worry, now I'm able to flow. And I feel like a lot of people are doing that, like this weekend into next week. And also, I'm going to say from now on, always and forever in this lifetime and beyond it. I wish that for everybody, right? Because if we were more in flow, there'd be so much more happiness, right? So happiness, just to let you know, happiness is on an inner and an outer level. There's so much to it, and I love talking about happiness. I love talking about love, but you can only have happiness when you are in love, okay? And I'm talking about with life, with yourself, with how you do things, all that stuff. Like you can only have that on, like the fake happiness is like, might as well not even have it. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's where the real happiness lies, is that's what everybody wants. So, and I'm pretty much, I can safely call myself an expert at happiness because I know what it fucking takes. That's all I gotta say. I'm just gonna end it with that. I know what it fucking takes. I latched onto that shit like my mom's boobie. You know what I'm saying? When I like the moment that, you know, I popped out of my mom's womb, you know, or yeah, we know where we pop out of. But like the whole thing is the moment I got onto Earth and they like basically like osmosis into my like skin, where it's like, oh, we just want her to be happy, you know, because that's what everybody wants for their kids to be, you know. It's like I fucking just like latched onto it and I ran with it, and you know, and I've been taught so much about it, you know. Life has taught me so much about it, so that's why I like to teach about life in terms of how to steer your way, towards more of your genuine happiness and away from that bullshit happiness that everybody's trying to feed you. Like it's gonna fucking, like, you know, talk about food before, it's not gonna sustain you. You know what I'm saying? The bullshit happiness is not a food that will sustain you. It's not a substance that will sustain you, you know? So you have to, there's just so much to it, but I'll go into that, I mean, leave your questions on my page. Feel free to do that if you have any questions about happiness, because I could definitely, I'm definitely an expert in it. But what was I gonna say? But also like a wholesomely genuine like teacher of happiness, because happiness, people think like I love to myth bust on everybody's fucking bullshit in terms of what happiness is. That's what I'm an expert on, because I feel like people have all these ideas, you know. Also, another thing, I curse all the time. I doubt Oprah curses. That's all I'm saying. So my whole thing is, it's like, you know, all these people have like this idea of what happiness is, and a lot of it is untrue. You know what I'm saying? So I've had to unlearn a lot and just observe life a lot to show me the way of what is true and what's not true. And by true and not true, I mean by what is true for all of us, because again, foundationally, we are all human beings. We're all going to share the same type of the same type of, the need to be happy. It's a need, guys. Love is a need, and it's a basic need, and happiness needs to be a basic need starting today. So I wish that upon everybody as a collective. So I'm gonna end it right there, guys. Thank you so much for hearing me you know, rant and rave and love and teach and just, you know, express. And I'm just so grateful that we're coming into these times where, you know, just bust through any of your victimized hood, your victimized mentality, victimization, you know, and your excuses and your fears. Just bust through all of them with love and faith, guys. That's what it's all about. I love you so much. Have a great day. Bye.